It's been a wild week as President Trump has completely reset the entire world's economy. With a bold tariff approach that caused, at first, a massive sell off, we're already seeing the brilliance in this move. Markets are bouncing back, and we may be on the verge of a huge move for Bitcoin. Volatility is likely to continue, and perhaps the Fed will decide to lower interest rates sooner than imagined. Are we truly entering the golden age of the United States of America? And what does it mean for crypto? We're conducting our own hands off protest today, as if to say, hands off your podcast player while you're listening to this episode so you don't miss a second of informative or maybe somewhat hilarious episode number 772 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
What a difference a few days make, Sir Lord Travis?
What a difference a few hours make, actually, because I mean, this should just happen today. And, we were thinking about recording yesterday, but the mojo just didn't feel quite right. And so we said, you know what, let's do it tomorrow. And it turned out to be great because if we had done the show yesterday, today's show would have seemed like we were in weirdo universe land.
Right. So we're recording this on the 9th of April. So if the markets crash on the 10th, then it's the same thing, only backwards. But welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious and the crypto serious. And wow, what a crazy week. Trump tweets today after massive crash this week. We'll look at some of those stories in a moment. He tweets this morning, good time to buy, referring to the stock market as if he knew something, and then comes out and changes the policy on tariffs instead of this incredibly huge rate globally, where we've already got over 70 countries knocking on the door of the White House that want to talk about tariffs and equalizing things. They're pausing for 90 days, tariffs on all countries, leveling them at 10% only, except for China. China.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discourse going on right now in the web because, wow, this dude and his tariffs are tanking the whole global economy. And I think that obviously, the globalists have to have some sort of stock market tanking because the market's just been going up and to the right for so long, right? And I think that it seems that, to me, the powers that be have such a stranglehold on it that a lot of times it doesn't even seem like it's real life when you look at the stock market. Like there should be some sort of up and down and a rebalancing every once in a while. It can't just always go up and to the right. And I think the globalists have such a stranglehold on it that America has been used as global exit liquidity for other countries. If you look at these tariffs just objectively, and I'm not, hating one way or the other, I'm just saying, look at them objectively. You can see all these countries are charging us a shitload to send things their way. But then when they're sending them our way, it's not costing them anything.
Right.
That's
It
ridiculous.
makes no sense. It makes no sense. Let's jump in and look at what the markets are right now, and then we're going to get more in depth in this because I know we both have many thoughts. Timestamp is April the 9th, 2025, 5:12 p.m. on the East Coast. The total crypto market cap 2.739 trillion. Bitcoin back over 83,000 after dipping as low as in the 76s. Ethereum, ouch, 1667. XRP $2.06. It went under $2. BNB 581, Solana 119, Dogecoin 16 cents, Cardano 64, Tron in the number 10 slot at 23.7 cents. And you can see here, over 7 days, the numbers have bounced back because of what's happened in the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those charts.
You're looking at last 24 hours. I mean, let's just look at the last 24 hours. It's like Flair up 37%. Ric Flair loves that. Woo!
Woo!
Hyperliquid hype token up 24%, Ondo up 21%, Render up 20%. A lot of these AI projects are starting to pop back off. Algorand 17%, Pepe up 17%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Look
Last
at this
24
chart.
hours. Like these are the last 24 hours, but really, they're not even the last 24 hours. They're just like the last 6 hours.
Yeah, look at this. So April 6th, Bitcoin is 83.4, drops immediately over the next 24 hours to
Yeah,
74,773.
that's 2 days
Bounces
ago. That's 2 days.
it, right, bounces back, and it bounced back because some guy tweeted that that Trump is considering pausing tariffs for 90 days. And then as soon as people realize, oh, that wasn't a legitimate source, boom, back down again to 75. And I actually pulled up the Dow so we can see here, Trav. Look at this over. So the 6th is right about here. The market goes from over 40,000 down to 38, falls lower to 37.
Oh, no, goes all the way down to 36.4, 36.
Right. Look at
4,
that candle. Look at
36.
that candle. Ouch. Ouchie candle. And then Trump tweets what he tweets and should have known the moment he said good time to buy. It's not like Eric Trump tweeting. You know, when Eric Trump tweeting, I kind of disregard it like Jim Cramer tweeting, you know. But when Trump says it's a good time to buy, he knows he's about to make a move, and he did. And the Dow, look at that, up $3,000, 7.87% today.
Yeah.
And most of those losses from the previous week have been brought back again.
Yeah. I want to ask this. I want to ask your thoughts on this. So let's say he knows he's going to do this.
Yeah.
And let's say some members of the Trump family go in and start buying like crazy because they know the market's going to rebound.
Yeah.
He even sends out a message and says, "Hey, you should probably buy," right? Whatever he says. And then the market takes off like that. Like, is that creating issues? Because the Trump family does have some big swinging dongs down there. What they got billions of dollars to play with. Now it's
Well,
not BlackRock
maybe.
money.
Maybe, but he told everybody. He didn't just like tell his family, "Hey, you should buy." He publicly truthed, and then it was shared on X. It's a good time to buy. You know, let's MAGA. So he was basically rallying everybody, signaling, I'm about to make a move,
I'm
and
about to drop my junk on a table and go plop and watch it just hang there for a little bit. 13 inches of economy all up in you. But it's crazy to think about that when he said, we're going to put these tariffs on you, and boom. And then the whole global economy just did this. Like, dude, the Japanese Nikkei, it was like, we're going to halt. It like literally triggered the stop. It stopped markets, dude. Like all around the world, the markets were going, so it just shows how big America is in the grand scheme of things. Like, what we do, the world kind of goes by what we do. And this seems like this is a play to kind of put China back in its place in some way. It seems to me.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like the whole world has been a little weird because they're taking advantage of America. We're, as I said, we're the exit liquidity. They're charging us an absorbent amount. We're not charging them. And then China's been essentially able to like kill our industries over years. Like, and I read this post the other day. In 1990, you could buy a pair of Levi's or a pair of Lee jeans for around 40, $50 in America that were made in America, right? And now they're all made in China and they're like 12, $15, $25, and they're made in China, and it killed all the American industries, right? And so it's like, I think a lot of Americans would be cool to buy stuff that's made in America. Now I think though a lot of Americans are so lazy. Did you see that one AI generated thing about Make America Great Again? And it was made by some Chinese AI, and it showed all these fat, overweight people like in sweatshops, like making bras and making computers and stuff, and they just all looked so unhappy. Did you see that video? I think you're muted. But so we should. I'll see if I can find that one. Put it in. We'll have that. We'll have that at the end of the video here, at the end of our recording. It just shows all these really sad, fat Americans working in factories, making America great again.
Sad, fat Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's here's a copy of the tweet, and some people are saying this is in response to the bond market collapsing, that he's like, okay, we don't want that to happen because that causes all kinds of issues with the banks. But no matter what, whether this was planned or not, it's a really good move. And China's retaliated, saying, okay, we raise a tariff back on you, America. And Trump says, we're not going to be bullied. So now tariffs on you are 125%. And there was a great clip from, I think it was the CNN show that had Mr. Wonderful on it. He does a lot of commentary now. And he was saying, I think China should be 400% tariffed. I do business with them. They're dishonest. They steal. They don't follow through on their side of the agreement. And tariffs on them should be 400%. And so I love it. I did a little grokking yesterday. Travis, I hope you weren't watching as I was doing it because it wasn't very pretty. But I wanted to know what is the consumption of the world. Who's consuming? The United States consumes 33%. 350 or 60 million people in a world of 8 billion consume 33, 1/3 of the goods of the world. Next up is China at about 7%.
Wow.
And then after that, it falls to like 4%, 3%, 2%.
Okay, but what about the question of who are the producers? Because we used to produce a lot of this stuff, and now it's been sort of, outsourced to China and India and a lot of other smaller Asian. Vietnam has a lot of it. Taiwan, we get a lot of our stuff from those places.
Right.
Do we end up shooting ourselves in the foot long term? If I think that was the policies of the 90s and stuff, was we kind of screwed ourselves by letting all these other countries that, I mean, if we were to say who's our biggest enemy in the world or who's our biggest adversary, a lot of people go Russia because they're retarded.
No,
but it's China, clearly.
It's China.
And they're, dude, and think about this. In 1990, Shanghai was nothing. Shanghai was dirt roads and people riding bikes, and now Shanghai is one of the biggest cities in the world. And it's the Clintons' policies that enabled China to grow the way they did. And they've never been reined back in. In fact, they've been given lots of our IP over time because we're like, hey, make this for us. Hey, make this for us. So then they just get all of our IP, and now it burns with IP.
Yep. I totally agree. And it was a bad move for America. And this is why the middle class has suffered. This is why we've lost jobs. And I think once these countries go to 0 tariff, which even the EU is saying now, originally they puff up their chest and like the German commissioner, we will do what is best for the Europeans and European Union.
Yeah,
and then just yesterday, she's like, we are open to 0 tariffs. Like, they don't have a choice. We are the greatest consumers of products. So we want to ship you a Mercedes-Benz and a Volkswagen still.
And you've been to Europe several times, as so have I. Like, how often do you see United States products, American-made products, on the shelves in Europe? Very rarely. You don't see very many American cars. I've been to Europe. I've been to every single country in Europe, I think, except I've not been to some of the Balkan states, but I've been to every other one. I've not been to Luxembourg because it's tiny and I don't give a shit about Luxembourg. But I've never seen a Chevy. I've never seen a Ford. Not one.
Well, I have.
You have?
For sure. Yeah, but they're minimal. Most of them are going to be.
I mean, if so, I didn't see it. I've never seen a Ford truck.
You know what's funny?
Weird European cars you never heard of.
We play Aaron and I play a funny game that she started when we're in Europe. The first time it happened, she just goes to me and goes, one. I'm like, one what? And she points to a person wearing a Levi's shirt walking around in Europe. And throughout the day, now at the game, okay, 2, 3, 4, or like we count every time we see somebody wearing a Levi's shirt. It's just a stupid thing we do. And so there's your American made brand.
Yeah. No, that's good. But that's the reticular activating system in your brain. Once you start looking for it, you see it. So maybe I didn't see it because I'm not actually looking for it. But I have looked for Ford trucks and Chevy trucks just as a joke. They don't have a lot of trucks over there, period. Right? Maybe more so up in Norway and Sweden or whatever. There's more trucks, but it's interesting. Hey, I sent that video to you over in 6.
Okay. You find what you look for. I mean, you're looking for boobies, and so you're gonna see all the boobies. Which, by the way, leads to another funny story. When
two.
We were in, well, here's the story. We were in Spain a couple of years ago, and we were doing a hike along the East Coast, north of Barcelona. It was like an 8-day hike from place to place, and we encountered one of the beaches where a lot of women were going topless. And I'm like, we're not counting Levi's today. We're counting women we see that are topless.
We're
And
counting Bobos.
and it's like, okay, one, two, three, and then we got up to like 40, and she's like, I'm done counting. I'm like, but look, there's four girls together, all topless. It's the mother load. It's a
Nice.
multiple,
Yeah, but
and
the worst part of that is you see all these dudes that are bottomless, and you're like, oh no, that is
we
horrible.
did see that. That
Went off the
subtracts
beaten track
10.
one time. I went off the beaten track one time, and I was walking on. I was hiking it. We're at some event, and I'm walking. I didn't know there was like a nude beach over there, and there was just like they're all old and like just gross, dude. Like this is like the hot chicks normally aren't going nude too much. It's always the old ugly folks. So I am very. What is that? Age phobic? What is it like when you're against? I'm against old naked people. That's what I'm against. I'm trying to say. I'm against Joel muting his microphone too.
Well, thankfully, the guy in the video you sent me is dressed. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the sound to go with this is all also.
I just copied the tweet that I saw it on. This is not the person who actually sent it. It's a dude on TikTok.
Okay. We don't need to hear the music, do we? We can just play.
But it's kind of funny. You hear him going, but just watch.
There he is.
He's sewing.
There he is doing his thing.
Look how happy they all look. You just look at this and you realize how lazy Gen Z is, really, and Gen A. Like they're not going to want to do any of this work. Like they're kind of forced to do it in China. You know what I mean?
Well,
You see all these people
but
who die at the freaking Foxconn place and stuff, dude. Like they don't want to do this shit either, dude. And they got to do it like 10, 12 hours a day. If
yeah,
they're
but
making
here,
iPhones in America, it's going to cost $5,000. Make it.
but here's the thing: the job they're going to have to pay more. So look at it this way: the people in China, it's slave labor and even child labor. Really, is that what we want to be buying anyhow? So let's bring the jobs here. Let's make iPhones here and stop buying a new one every year. Buy one and use it for 5 years instead of spending $1,000 a year. Use it for 5 years. It's ridiculous to be buying an iPhone every year because the camera just got a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's just no point. Like, let's adjust our lifestyle and let's get Americans good paying jobs. I think there's plenty of people that are willing to do blue collar jobs in America if the wages can sustain their living conditions.
Well, I think this is that, I mean, with AI and robotics and quantum computing and stuff, everything getting stronger and faster, like a lot of these things are going to just be robotic created. Like,
Sure.
I mean, some of those screws are so tiny. How in the hell could you even see that shit without like a little like a little, you need a little magnifying thing or
I
something?
don't know. We're going to have to make adjustments. If we look back to the beginning of the week, this article here, which by the way, you can see all the articles at badco.in/77, what is it? 772, something like that. Yeah.
Seven, seven, yeah. Last week was 772.
The month started above 87,000 and we dropped below 75,000, and we understand why it happened now. This is no surprise because people, when they're fearful, they sell. And that's it. The markets are purely emotional. They are not a reflection of reality. And so the same thing happened in the Bitcoin market. It crashed below 75,000, and right now we're back over 83,000, all within a week over these tariffs. And
Yeah.
I think when people get emotional and they sell, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose everything. And then they sell. You haven't lost anything if you haven't sold. If you are a believer in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and you are here for the long haul, there's only one chart that I look at. And that chart is over time Bitcoin adoption and blockchain adoption. And that chart does not go burp, burp, burp. It goes burp like this. It is an exponential only up. And that, if you're going to look to the future, you're going to look back at times like this, Trav, and you're going to go, of course, of course, this was inevitable.
Well, I mean, I host a lot of these Mario Nawfal Twitter spaces on, X spaces with, it's amazing. And every day, like, oh my God, the market is blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I go, well, having been doing this bad crypto since 2017, having been in crypto since 2010, knowing that crypto, I still look at it and go, oh my God, Bitcoin, $75,000 a Bitcoin. Like that's a lot still.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, realistically speaking, oh, now it's at 83 again. Wow. Oh, it was at 107K. Dude, I remember when it was $100. I mean, I didn't buy a lot of it. Realistically, man, I should have sold all my gold and silver and loaded
Yeah.
up the truck, or just whenever I was buying gold and silver, if I had taken literally, this is true math, if I had taken 1/4 of what I bought on gold and silver and put it in Bitcoin, I'd be a billionaire. And so it's like it's weird to see how crypto has grown up into the right over time. And I mean, dude, if you look at the cost of everything, what does it do? It goes up and to the right.
Right.
It's everything's inflationary. And then the fact that Bitcoin's deflationary, it's just going to keep mapping it. Why? Because the dollar keeps getting less valuable.
At the risk of being a broken record, which sometimes I am, I'm going to reference back to the 2021 bull run again. In May, we hit an all-time high of 63,500. And then over the summer and all the way into mid-July, we fell more than 50%. And then the latter part of the year, ba-boom, new all-time high by November of 69,000. I feel like this bull run, which I think we are still in, looks a lot like the 2021 run.
Bada bing, bada boom. Well, I mean, hopefully, it's so wild. Well, here's what I will say is that if Trump's holding off of these tariffs for the next 90 days, then that would look pretty good for the next 90 days of crypto, for the next 90 days of the stock market. And that puts us what? That puts us at the end of February of July, right? What so
Right.
May, June, July, mid in July. And they said this bull run's going to end like in September originally. So this
Yeah.
could prolong the bull run a little bit. This could just give the bull run a little bit of life support. So just keep an eye out on what's going to happen because these are Trumponomics, right? He's making some people say, "Oh my God, these tariffs are terrible." He's making other people say, "Oh my God, these tariffs are terrific." And so it's really loosening the jaw of the globalist on the world economy.
Mhm.
It's
And I don't
shaking
think
that out.
we're not going to have to wait 90 days to see the results because we've already got countries coming to the table, Israel, Vietnam, several others saying, great, we will go 0 to 0 tariffs. You're not going to tariff
Mhm.
us. We won't tariff you. And we're going to see a lot of these countries sooner than later, especially with him pausing this, coming to the United States to meet with
Yeah,
the president in the Oval
yeah.
Office. And that's going to fuel a heck of a boom.
And why? Mr. Joel Comm, Sir Lord Joel Comm. Why would
Yes.
these countries have before wanted to come to the table and renegotiate tariffs whenever they're getting 20, 40%, 60%, some cases 100%, 103% tariffs on US? Why would they want to come to the table and negotiate if we hadn't had done this?
They wouldn't because they were benefiting from it.
Right.
And China is going to suffer the most. And I'll tell you what, if he keeps bumping, if this trade war escalates and they keep saying, okay, now we raise another 100%, he's going to go fine. Screw it. You're at 300% now. And it's going to put all of these sweatshops, all of this
Yeah.
manufacturing in China out of business because we're the ones who consume their stuff more
Well,
than
their
anybody.
economy right now is already teetering on the edge of collapse. And so he's doing what he said. So my son sent this to me and he goes, Call of Duty 2 or one of those. It was the reason Call of Duty that the whole premise behind that one was China uh, banned the export of their rare earth elements. That's what Call of Duty 2 or one of those Call of Duties that was the plot line behind it, and it created this huge war, and that's what the Call of Duty was all about. So
China, asshole.
and so now we put in all these tariffs, and then they go, "Oh, we're banning these rare earth elements," which is one reason why I've always supposed I don't know this but it seems to me like it would make sense. Like Greenland probably is certainly not great to live, but they probably got some amazing mining in that terrain. They probably got rare earth elements. They probably got some shit we never even discovered. There's probably gold there. Denmark's not doing shit with it, and so that's why I think that's the case. And so I know Russia has some rare earth elements. Mongolia probably has them too, if China has them, right? So it's like They just got to figure out and how to mine them more effectively. I know America probably has them too. We just haven't been in that mining state of mind.
We got to also the Chinese owning American land that needs to stop. Owning
Yeah, no,
American firms. I hope that
yeah, all right by American Army
right.
bases.
I hope he comes down on that. So here's something else, Trav, that could trigger the bull run to rebound quickly. The Fed, if they decide to, before their May meeting, to cut interest rates. I mean, it's time. It's time. Make it more affordable. Bring the interest rates down, a quarter point or whatever. Let's move in that direction. And pretty soon we're going to see quantitative easing again, where we're going to be printing more money, putting it out there. I tell you, the Congress needs to pass the big, beautiful spending bill. That also, if the House and the Senate can get together and stop playing DC games and actually cut spending, then I think that's also going to contribute to a booming economy.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, which I think is contributing to a booming economy as well, is what the way that AI has been doing all the things that AI has been doing. And so I'm going to share this with you real quick here. So
Share with me, because sharing is the most caring thing you could do, sir.
sharing is the most caring of things that we can do. That is pretty true
Most of the time,
most of the time. All
that's
right, so
how I feel about it.
let me see here. Screen one. This should be it. Let me go ahead.
Oh, for those of you that don't watch the visual version, you're missing out. It's on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey. You go watch all our episodes there, because when
Yeah.
we cover the news, we put them up on the screen,
Mhm.
and then you also get to look at our faces, which I know everybody wants to look at our faces
Yeah.
because we're
Can you
so
see my screen here
stunningly.
where it says crypto news analysis?
I was just going to say we're so handsome. Yes, I see it.
So this was all created with AI. I went in Manus. I took our document that we went through for episode 772 and how Trump's resetting the world economy.
Uh,
I took every single article, I plugged it in, and I said, here's what we're talking about this week. Could you make me put these in notes? What's the most important things that we should know about based on these articles and any other things you can find? And look at this, dude. It just went through and gave me all the different stuff here. A DeFi whale loses 74 million. Ripple's major acquisition of Hidden Road for 1.25 billion. FTX aftermath. These are stories we're going to be talking about here in a second. Trump tariffs impact, massive liquidations, et
mhm.
cetera, et cetera. Dude, how crazy is that, dude?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow. And dude,
What
you
a
know how long that took? It took me, well, here's what it did. It did all this stuff right in here. It just went through the process and browsed all of them, created, and then it said, would you like me to make you a website? And I was like, yeah, please make it a website. And it went through these steps, boom, built the freaking website.
Amazing.
How
And
crazy is
what
that?
we consider amazing now is going to become commonplace, and then pretty soon, the next level of what is
Yeah.
coming is going to happen. Well,
Man, I've
now,
been playing with these video things to be able to use the new Chat GPT to make
mhm.
a Pixar image of yourself. And then I took an audio, put it into another tool, another AI tool, made these little characters because a lot of times the biggest problem with a lot of these AI generated things was if it doesn't look exactly human, it's not mapping the mouth and everything. Now they fixed that. Now I got these little cute characters. And so it's almost where some of the other characters I've created in the past, I'm getting really close to being able to do stuff with them. So it's like AI is getting so close and so good now. It's like it's unbelievable. And I'm having such a lot of fun doing it. But man, I tell you, there's going to be a lot of people that need to adjust their skill sets because a lot of these things are going to be over time. Like, what are you going to do?
Well, I think this is what is going to inevitably lead us to a universal basic income, because reskilling that many people so quickly, because it's going to happen so quickly. I mean, we're talking 18 to 36 months, we're going to see massive unemployment.
So what
And
does that do to the debt? I mean, it's like how do you give away a bunch of money when you don't have any?
yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer to it. So let's leave it to the economists that are on their toes to hopefully figure this out, because I'm not exactly sure what that looks like.
Get on your
But
toes.
we're gonna find out. That's for sure. As long as you're talking about this, I'm gonna see if I can show you something that I created in Free Pick. I basically took a photo of Aaron and myself on the beach and told it to animate it. Now I'm having a hard time finding it. Where do you use Free Pick?
Never heard of it.
It's one of so many, right? There's so many of these things now, and I love these tools that you can use for AI to do stuff. So I'll find it. But in the meantime, let's pull up the other stories here. One of them featuring former guest on the show when he was CTO of Tether. Now he's the CEO. Paulo Arduino says new rules could be brought in to make stablecoins competitive, and that could lead Tether to make a domestic stablecoin that would be U.S. only based. What do you think of that?
Hmm.
Is that
Well,
the new digital dollar then? Is that it?
yeah. Well, you got Circle doing its thing, and then also Tether has Tether Gold, right?
Mhm.
So they're playing around with that as well. And so I do think I have always thought that having a stable coin that was, but they all like USDC, USDT, UST, the one that tanked Luna, like they're all USD based. I've been waiting for more. What's the Euro stable coin? What's the Yuan stable coin? What's the Ruble stable coin? Because then you can get into a forex kind of a deal where you can trade stable coins and manipulate kind of a not manipulate, but you arbitrage the scenarios.
Mhm. So here's some other news for you from
That's what
Crypto
I'll be
News.
saying, mate, bruv.
U.S. federal agencies must disclose crypto holdings to Treasury. We need to find out exactly, what is the United States holding right now. Actually, is all the Bitcoin actually there? And so the reporting should have happened, and Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, should now know. We have not made the findings of the audit public yet, but they should allegedly know what the U.S. government owns. Should.
Yeah, and do we have all that gold in Fort Knox? Because
Right?
they're
That
not
we've
saying anything
not
about
heard
that.
anything. Yeah, what happened to that? It's right up there with the Epstein list.
Yeah, and
It's
where's that? And so I think there's some things they go, oh, geez, what's the repercussions going to be if everybody knows all this shit, right? So it's
right.
like, what would here's what I think would happen. Oh, Fort Knox doesn't have any gold in it. Stock market's going to tank, and there's no
Oh
way to
yeah.
sort of fix that. So
Yeah.
if it's empty, they're not going to tell you it's empty until they have a solution to fix it or something.
Y-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's
I
probably what the
agree.
problem is. Like, we're going to get to the bottom. We're going to let you know. Oh, and they go there and they go, oh shit, there's none here. Oh wow. Okay,
Maybe
so
we won't let them know.
all right. I guess we probably shouldn't have said that.
Maybe we're not going to talk about that right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, look over here.
Whoa.
So Ripple is acquiring Hidden Road for $1.25 billion to become the world's largest non-bank prime broker, which will expand its stablecoin and XRP services. How long, Trav, before Ripple becomes the new Swift?
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. So what does that mean to the price of Ripple? Now, when it was around 50 cents and we were going, oh yeah, well, it's going to do it. And then it sat around, 50, 75 cents or whatever forever. Dude, because remember Ripple hit like, didn't it hit like $3 or something back in 2017 during that bull run or something? And
Yep.
it didn't in the last bull run because the SEC was holding it down. And
Right.
so if they keep doing stuff like this, then yeah, because he said that Hidden Roads, $3 trillion in annual clearing is going to tap into Ripple's XRP. So there you go. There's going to be a lot more action, a lot more volume, at least 3 trillion additional dollars on XRP volume. What's that going to do for the price?
Got Baboom.
And shouldn't Ripple though kind of be like a stable coin? Seems to me kind of stable coinish, but
Well, I think it's based on how it's designed to operate. And while I can't claim to understand it too well, guess who's got work now that he's out of trouble, Trav?
yeah, CZ, dude. CZ's been doing okay. Dude, here's the thing: this dude's worth more than $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it was great. Whenever we decided to do bad crypto and make a podcast, he decided to make the biggest exchange. Good job, CZ. You made the right choice.
Dude, when
We
everybody
made the
was
bad choice.
making apps, I made a fart app, and other people made Foursquare and apps that,
Right? Yeah. Joe makes an app about farts. Makes a
Yeah.
$1.50.
Yeah.
Good. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. That's how it is. Here's
It's the fun formula. It's not always the profitable formula, folks.
that is also very true. Sad story here. A DeFi whale lost $74 million when an Ethereum backed loan hit the wall. It defaulted, and the loan was taken out a long time ago against a stash of Ether tokens on a DeFi protocol called Sky. And when the crypto market tanked on Sunday, Ethereum fell 20% in a matter of hours. And guess whose margin got called there? Got liquidated, sold 74 million worth of Ether.
Yeah, and Sky used to be called Maker DAO. Is that right? Is that what it used
Yep.
to be? Maker? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Ethereum fell to as low as 1431. There's people saying that Ethereum is done. I don't think so. I think so much is built on Ethereum, and Ethereum is the basis for all of the L2s. And even though there's others that do the job better, there's so much liquidity in Ethereum. It gets burned as it's being used, and I'm still a believer.
You're a believer. You like
And I
Justin
saw
Bieber?
her face.
I'm a believer. I like Justin Bieber. No, I think that we're going to see over time new blockchains that have figured out the errors of the ways of these original OG blockchains, and it's going to be an evolution that takes place. I think that we've been having conversations with a couple of chains, and we'll talk about those when the time's right. But there's some stuff out there that's doing some multi-chain stuff. I think these L1s and L2s, these L2s siphon away all the liquidity from those L1 chains. That's one reason Ethereum is having so much problems is you got 100 plus L2s sucking away Ethereum liquidity, right? That's a problem. Like that right
Suck
there
it.
is a flaw in the system.
We shall see. Winding up the remaining stories we have for this week, Hong Kong allows crypto staking for licensed platforms and ETFs as global competition heats up. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about adoption of blockchain. You very rarely do you hear stories of a country or a major enterprise shuttering their blockchain initiatives. It's only more and more and more. And I saw a tweet today that there's another European country that is looking at starting a Bitcoin reserve. And that privately they're all talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be this gradually, then suddenly. And this, I mean, you hear these people give these crazy these price projections for what Bitcoin could do. And it almost seems like it's not possible to hit that 400,000 on this, particular run until you realize that when that button is pushed and that suddenly takes place, that there's no Bitcoin to buy on the exchanges. That if it's not there, what happens? That's where we see the true parabola take place.
And I do think that there's going to come a time where Bitcoin is going to decouple from stocks. It's going to decouple away because it's like, originally that's what it was set up. Oh, Bitcoin's going against the grain of all this traditional finance. Now it's like intertwined with it, right? Oh, stocks go down. Oh, cryptos are going down. But that's not what it was intended to do. So I think eventually we're going to see a decoupling of that. And will it be this cycle? I don't know. Will it be Trump's administration? I don't know. But it'll happen, and I think it'll be kind of slow, then it will be quick. You know what I mean?
We got our first view of that with the crash that happened this week, Trav, because the tariffs were announced and the stock markets and the SPY crashed huge, but Bitcoin and crypto was unaffected. I think this was the first glimpse at the future of decoupling, and then there was capitulation the next day. But seeing
you
that
did mention
happen,
we did go down to 74 from 84, so it did.
but not initially, not that
Yeah.
first 24 hours. The crypto markets did not react right away like they usually do. That I think this is significant. This is the first time we've seen the markets move dramatically, the traditional markets, but the crypto markets took 24 hours to react. So what happens next time? 48 hours to react. That's how you build stability. It's not all of a sudden, hey, we're decoupled. Bitcoin's not going to care about the, traditional markets. No, this was the first time this has happened. And that I could recall at least. And so we're going to see a second time. And the second time that happens, there'll be even less reaction. The third time, even less until we are fully decoupled. I think these things take time.
It's like getting a divorce. We're decoupling ourselves right now.
Right.
That's what we're gonna call it whenever bad crypto breaks up. We're decoupled.
Aw. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen for a while still, especially not during a bull run.
Not during a bull run, like after the bull run. It's like
Yeah,
it's
maybe
gonna
we're
happen
done.
in the bear run. We're gonna decouple, like fuck you, and then the bear run will come back around and be like, hey, how you doing?
You doing sexy.
What's
Hey,
going
if
on?
you lost money on FTX and have not yet done your KYC, you are one of 400,000 people and you may not be able to get repayments. Apparently, those 400,000 people that have not
Yeah.
KYC'd yet have until June 1st. Otherwise, up to 2.5 billion in repayments that are your money, you are gonna, be disqualified and sacrifice that. So KYC your stuff if you lost money with FTX.
Yeah. Who gets
I,
that then? If you don't KYC, do they just send it to KFC and everybody gets free chicken?
we get free chicken.
Wow, it's really nice. I like
You
that.
get all the nuggets. You get a lifetime supply of
Oh my
nuggets.
God. You better KYC or I'm gonna go eat your KFC, bitches. Because I'm hungry for some gravy.
Got anything
Their
else you want to talk
coleslaw
about?
is really good, by the way. I don't know what they put.
I haven't had KFC in years. Like it's
I will go sometimes and just get coleslaw. I'll be
just
like,
coleslaw.
give me a thing of the coleslaw. I will. It's true, because I like that coleslaw. I like to get some real barbecue here in Kansas City, and then get that pint or whatever of the KFC coleslaw. I love that slaw. That stuff is really good. I don't like
It's
the rest of
delicious. It's all just so bad. And so
Yeah.
the only fast food I've even eaten in the last year, I think, is Chick-fil-A. And now I've read more about all the stuff they put in their chicken. I'm like, even the stuff that allegedly is supposed to be better is not.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I saw a picture. I saw actually a video of under a microscope of an Oreo. And there's all these little weird little creature things on it. And I was like, ew, that is disgusting. I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm going to not eat any more Oreos.
well, you got little creatures crawling all over your flesh right now.
Oh my God, I'm never going to eat myself again.
Oh, gross.
So gross.
Oh, by the way, I saw, speaking of food, I saw a video on Instagram this week. This guy took a store-bought bakery glazed donut and a Krispy Kreme glazed donut, put them each in their own sealable plastic bag, left them for 30 days. In 30 days, the bakery donut was just covered with mold, super disgusting. Krispy Kreme looked identical to when he bought it 30 days ago. So if you like Krispy Kremes, you're putting so many chemicals in your mouth and into your system. That's toxic.
Yeah, quit putting that weird stuff in your mouth, you guys.
Delicious, but toxic.
Toxic deliciousness. Dude, that's the same thing of like a Big Mac, or was it a Big Mac, or it's like a cheeseburger.
Quarter pounder.
You can put it on the shelf and it'll just stay there the same. Bugs don't eat it. Bugs won't eat a fry. You can throw fry. They don't. So there's some weird shit in it.
Not food.
Not good. Not good
food. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully it was informative and mildly hilarious. And of course, you can go see.
It wasn't.
I laughed.
Did you?
A little bit.
Okay.
Mostly at you, not with you, but I laughed.
It was pretty good, you guys. This show right here was okay. Better than most, but not as good as some.
Gave us something to do. Gave you guys something to do. Be sure to review.
Welcome to Mid Crypto. This is not the best. It's not the worst. It's kind of mid.
We're still the only ones who do what we do. Right? There's nobody else telling fart jokes on their show.
That's true.
Nobody.
Why would they? There's no reason for them to do that.
Because it's funny.
It is true. It is true.
Because it's funny.
We need to actually incorporate some of your original OG fart sounds.
I can just recreate them.
Just recreate them right here on air. All right.
Thanks for listening, subscribing, sharing, telling friends, and of course, we hope to see you, or for you to see us or hear us on the next episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
You better tune in, or we're going to give you tariffs for listening to our show.
We're going to give you little crawly things.
And we're going to charge you an extra 10% for listening.
We're going to send you Oreos with little crawly things on it. All right, stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.